Good morning. Good morning. I'm back again. Good to be here with you and to connect with you all again. Dr. Scott here, Vital Life Force Now page, nature'sfirstpath.com. And, we're just continuing on with knowledge. We're continuing on with the knowledge. We have our ancient healing series that's going on, but I also want to talk about some critical issues that many people are dealing with, especially our senior population. A lot of attention is given, to our youth, what to do to, keep our protein up, to stay fit, stay active. But what about, senior vitality, right? That's really, really, critical once we start passing that 60 and up. And a lot of issues related to senior vitality have to do with this issue of high blood pressure. Now, it's not an automatic given that your blood pressure will raise as you get older, but we do tend to see that a lot. And with high blood pressure, we get those swelling of the ankles and feet, right? So today, I'm actually going to talk about four noted herbs that deal with high blood pressure and reduce swelling, right? That they're kind of a two part to that. So I'm going to get into the knowledge. And if you like what you hear, if you find any of these things of any kind of value, of course, right, hit the like button, subscribe, and share this leading edge naturopathic content to others, right? Well, one of the first herbs that I really, really do want to talk about actually are dandelion root. You might say dandelion root, right? The little, leaves I used to pick up as a kid and blow and watch the willow blow into the wind. Well, yes, actually, dandelion root, one of the first top herbs to really help with that high blood pressure. And how does it work? Well, it when you take it, it works with your kidneys to release water, right? So when you're releasing that water, you're also releasing some of that stored up sodium that might be blocked, right, in the body that is raising the blood pressure in the first place, right? So I used to juice dandelion and I still do on occasion, but you can also get it in herbal or supplement form, right? It looks like, any, like your normal type of green vegetable. Um, and some people even throw dandelion in their salads, and it's pretty good. It has a sharper taste. So if you don't want to go that route, you can have the supplement. And if you're concerned about dosage, of course, talk to your healthcare practitioner. One of the other, or second, no less important herbs slash foods slash nuts actually are pumpkin seeds, or pepitas, as some people might know them, in my Hispanic community. But the pumpkin seeds are very, very good for working with lowering that blood pressure. And you might say, okay, how does that work? Well, because of its high content of magnesium. And we really need magnesium for our neurotransmitters in our body. But one of the things that magnesium does, it releases, excess water out of muscles, right? Excess, sodium and, toxins that are surfaced on the bone that get leaked into the bloodstream that raises, blood pressure. So pepitas are a great natural way to pull out right that excess water. And again, just like with the dandelion, when you're pulling out that excess water, you are pulling out that excess sodium. Now, the third food that I'm going to talk about right now, you might actually be very shocked. You're like, what? But one of the main things you can also eat to help with high blood pressure are avocados. Yes, avocados actually contain more potassium than a banana. That's right. Now, don't get me wrong, bananas are great and they are loaded with potassium, but avocados have more. These specifically pulls the salt out of your system, targeting specific less the water and more that excess salt or sodium, which we as Americans have so much of in our body, right? Due to the diet, right? Due to being sedentary, due to the lack of sweating consistently, right? So the avocados are great, right? And they're a natural source of good and healthy fats. Okay. And then one of the final, you know, recommendations that I want to go over is actually a fruit, and you know about it. And it is the almighty pineapple. Yep, the almighty pineapples. Well, you're like, well, what does, a pineapple, what do pineapples have to do with reducing blood pressure? Well, interestingly enough, and as you might know or may not know, but pineapples contain bromelain, and that reduces the swelling. But what it does, it gets into your sinews, into your body, and all the crevices, and it breaks down excess proteins, dead proteins, trapped waste, right? Built up. So while the other items were dealing with salt per se and excess water and inflammation and all that, pineapple does, but now it's going after those hardened, maybe leftover stored calciums, proteins, toxins, and whatnot that are left stuck. When things are stuck, anything that's stuck is going to cause a backup. And when you have that backup, that raises anything. And in this case, we're talking about a raised and elevated heart rate. And the good thing about the pineapples with the bromelain, it keeps your blood vessels open, right? It keeps the highways open. Granted that we're getting some walking, we're trying to do some light exercise, we're keeping the stress levels down. Okay. So just some simple things that you can start doing in your life today. Granted that you don't have any contraindications, which I hope you do not, to some of those foods and herbs that we talked about, right? So what's the first ones that we really started off with? It was the dandelion. Great for it. Pumpkin seeds, or pepitas, as some prefer to call them. Avocado. Can't miss it. And it's tasty, right? So when you're getting your natural healthy guac, if you can get it without the excess salt, that's great. And then, of course, pineapple, because of the bromelain. All right. So it's not just something that I recommend. I'm a doctor of a certain age, right? I've been around, I've seen a lot, and I eat these foods weekly. So I'm not just talking the talk, I'm walking the walk, and I've seen the effects, and so have my patients and clients. Okay. You like what you heard? Go ahead, drop a message in the chat, drop a thumbs, share, be a part of the solution. We have more leading edge content coming down the line, not even in the near future, like soon, like within days. Okay. So again, thank you so much. You can find me on all my other outlets, Vital Life Force Now, on various socials. And don't forget to visit the actual website, www.naturesfirstpath.com. All right. Dr. Scott here, live and direct, sunny Los Angeles, California. We will talk to you soon. Let's keep that blood pressure down, y'all. Peace.